Hi there, I'm Linda and this is Huttons Valley Permaculture. It's that time of year when the garden is producing way more than you need for fresh eating. Join me today for a harvest and I'll talk through what I plan to do to preserve each of the vegetables. First up for my harvest is some cauliflower. Now, I generally don't grow cauliflowers during summer, but I wasn't sure whether it was going to be a hot or cool summer, so I gave it a go. Some of them do look a little bit dodgy, but some of them have turned out pretty good. They do need to be harvested, and I'm going to harvest those and some leeks and make a cauliflower and leek mash. I like to make the mash, then put it into little silicone cubes, and that freezes really well, so you can grab it out anytime when you need it. I'll leave this one here for my veggie garden recipient. She'll be delighted with some beautiful cauliflower. They're all about to open up, so I'm going to grab them. Now the leaves of cauliflower are great in this mash as well, but I don't need this many. And they look like they've got plenty of bugs on them, so I reckon the chickens will love all of that. I will be leaving the roots in the ground because I often find that this shoots if given some time. And I'm just going to grab a couple of these leeks, which will add great flavour to this mash. Now just over here, I've got some more cauliflower that needs harvesting. In fact, one of them has gone too far, but the other one is still looking pretty good. In this area, I have left cauliflowers that I've cut off just re-sprout, and this is the result. Now that we've got the cauliflower and leek mash sorted, let's move on to the next vegetable, and it's the corn. It's just about finished. So what I'm going to do with this is just cook the corn cobs and remove the kernels and freeze them for future use. I've still got these frost beans which are growing on the corn stalks. So I'm going to leave the corn in the ground until all of the beans have filled out and dried up. Let's just have a little sneak peek at how our frost beans are going. They're not too far off being ready, but we'll just leave them a little bit longer before we go and harvest them. So I'm just going to grab the rest of the corn cobs. There might just be a few that haven't fully ripened yet, so I'll leave those, but I'll grab these other ones. One of my viewers described this as a corny corn. It's a golden bantam corn, and it's not great just eating it off the cob, but I found that if I do cook it and then cut off the kernels and use that in recipes, then the flavour is fantastic. Now this one's a bit tied up. I'll try and extract it. Okay, there we go. Oh, I think some bugs have found their way into this one. Yep, something's eaten it, and it's nearly finished. You can see it's starting to shrivel up, so I'm a bit late getting these, but I'll cook it and we'll see how we go. Next we're going to grab some green beans from my super productive plants here on my trellis. Now what I'm planning to do with these is something new for me, and that's lacto-fermentation of the green beans. In the past, I've preserved my beans just by freezing, and I find that I don't really like to eat them like that. They certainly don't make a great side dish. I do use them in like a minestrone soup like that, but generally they're not great. I've also tried dehydrating them, and that was an interesting thing to do. So this time I'm going to try this lacto-fermentation. I'll leave the link in the description of the recipe I'm going to give a try. Okay, I think that's enough. I'm just going to do a jar or two just to see if I like it before I go ahead with a bigger batch. Now on to a star of the summer garden, and that's the cucumbers. Once cucumbers get going in summer, it really is a bit of a job keeping up with it all. Every day or two you find there's another huge cucumber, and I don't like to let them get too big because the seeds get too large, and they're at their best when you pick them well before that point. I'm just going to grab a few of these cucumbers that really need to be harvested before they get too large. That's a whopper. Sometimes you just got to work out where they start so you're not chopping off the plant itself. I'll be harvesting a basket of veggies for my friend tomorrow, so I'm leaving plenty and I'll give her lots so she can preserve as well. Now with all of this, that's plenty to go into a cucumber relish that I've been making, which is a really great gift for family and friends. And also I love to do a quick pickle. They seem to last in the fridge for ages, and you can flavour it up with lots of different flavourings, whatever you kind of like, and that just sits in the fridge until you're ready to eat it. There's a chogia beetroot that I'm going to leave for my harvest basket, but these golden beetroot here, I'm going to sneak this one out and maybe leave the others to grow on a little bit more if they will. Might be a bit too late for them. But I'll get plenty of chips out of this golden beetroot. And this one here, it looks like it's split, so I'll get that out. I'll take that out and have a look. That has split, but I'll see how we go cutting that piece out. All you need to do for the beetroot chips is slice it up really finely. So I'll cut that off, slice up the rest finely, and I think that'll be just perfect for the preserving of the beetroot as chips. Another vegetable that I love to preserve as chips is the zucchini. And when they get quite large like that, that's the perfect size because they do dehydrate down a little bit, and that's the perfect round size for making these chips. Zucchinis are just amazing for veggie production. One day they might be sort of this size here, and the next they're huge. I can get a couple of decent sized zucchinis from this plant. Oh, there's one hiding underneath as well. We might take that too. It's those ones that hide that kind of sneak up on you and get way too large. Okay, let's go. Last but not least is harvesting some of these gorgeous tomatoes. They're all just starting to ripen now and looking pretty beautiful. These ones are the beautiful blueberry tomato, which are really sweet and gorgeous and just a beautiful colour. Now with the smaller tomatoes, I do sometimes grab them when they're not quite ripe and let them ripen inside. I've got a big bowl inside already. What I do with these smaller ones is just halve them and then pop them in the dehydrator with a bit of onion salt and some basil, and they're really delicious as a snack throughout the year. So I'd better grab some basil so I can process those little tomatoes. Might need to do a batch of pesto as well. Now, another way I like to preserve tomatoes when they're a lot bigger than this, like the little Groslissies I've got growing here, when they're larger, I make them into a fermented salsa, which lasts all year if I've made 20 jars of it. And it's really delicious and fantastic to have in the fridge. Well, I think 2 baskets of veg to preserve today is enough. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Thanks so much for watching, and bye for now.